it started in pre-K and kindergarten, and then grades 1 through 12, and then another 4 years of college. Over 80% of my life was spent in school, and I surprised myself by actually learning something. My family wouldn't agree with you, but I would tell you that I was never great at school. All throughout grade school, I scored below my current reading level. I was enrolled in special needs classes, and I was frequently forgetting to turn in assignments and failing tests and exams. But what did it matter, I would tell myself. It's not like GPA or anything like that mattered in elementary school. It's in high school where it started to really matter. And then another year would go by, and I would tell myself, in sophomore year, it'll get better. And then another year, and then I tell myself, senior year is where you really make it happen. And then I tell myself, I just need to do good on the SAT. And then comes the big announcement where I tell my family that I'm going to community college. I kept telling myself that I was going to work out, and it really felt that every year, every day, I was drawing a new line in the sand. The rain would come down and it would sweep everything away. And I was a foolish builder. I built my house on bad study habits and over 400 hours on Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Even though everything felt like it was swept under me, there was still God to guide me. And because even when the times were tough, he was still there to lead the way. And he led me to community college, and I absolutely loved community college. The rain stopped, and I didn't have to worry about 6 classes, 5 days a week, for 8 hours a day, with extracurriculars on top of it. I started to build my house on a rock. Community college gave me a lot of free time, and time that I can spend building new habits, finding my own rhythm, ones I was able to learn for myself, not ones that were given to me through primary school. I didn't have to draw a line in the sand anymore. I put my faith in God, and he guided me exactly where I needed to be. I didn't know it yet or at the time, but it was community college. I didn't think it would have ever been my plan, but it seemed to have been God's plan for me. Once I realized that everything would work out because he had a plan for me before I was even born, I started to have a stronger foundation, building my house on a rock because I started to have faith that everything would work out because of his plan. Literally speaking, you don't have to be working in construction to understand that sand is unstable. It shifts and it molds with the wind, it clumps up and it hardens with water. Rock is something that is stable and won't change for many lifetimes. When you build a house on a rock, you're thinking of the future, and when it does rain and the wind blows, that house will stand. Even thinking about geology, sand and rock. Sand can only be made into something beautiful with intense heat. It can be turned into something beautiful, but we all know about the story of the man that built his house out of glass. Sand can even be turned into rock, but that, again, takes thousands and millions of years of compression in geological formations. Building a house on top of sand, thinking one day it will turn into rock, is like watching a river carve out a canyon. Life will pass you by before that happens. Christ wasn't a construction worker by trade, and as I've alluded to already, his words mean something much more than just building a house. It's choosing how to live your own life. Much of Matthew chapter 7 talks about judging others, ask, seek, knocking, the narrow and the wide gates. Christ is telling us how to best live our lives, finding a community for you, your kids, your grandchildren, and building good study habits that will last for a lifetime. The parable connected with me because I felt the shift from living on top of sand to on top of a rock. Finding that foundation takes trust. You don't know you're standing on a sturdy rock until you put your foot down. It's not just about putting faith in yourself, that you've wandered across the right path, but it's putting faith in God and that he will guide you to where you need to be, the right path. The way he tells us how we should live. And when you listen to Matthew chapter 7 and put your faith in God's teachings, you are building your house on a rock. Just like how my grandparents put their faith in him coming to a new country, how I put my faith in him to guide me through 80% of my life, and how you can continue to put your faith in him to build your house. Thank you. All right.
few months ago, I got to listen to Christian give a presentation on how to safely and securely invest your money. And he showed up in a suit, looking as professional as I've ever seen him. And he had a firm and solid command of what he was talking about. He was not encouraging anybody to bet their money on crypto or to go in for high-risk, high-reward schemes. Rather, he was encouraging us to build, stone by stone, brick by brick, a future that will last. My friends, all success is incremental. All success is built brick on brick. So, if you're feeling like you haven't accomplished enough in your life yet, if you feel like you've built too much on shifting sands, know that God gives you the power and the freedom today to step off of the sand, to put your feet on the rock, and start laying brick by brick, moment by moment, an incrementally more prosperous and secure future. So take that power, take that freedom, and let's build. Go in peace.